Have you ever considered what happens to your belongings after you're gone? This isn't just a question of logistics. It's a profound inquiry into the very nature of our existence and what we leave behind. The objects we gather throughout our lives are more than just things. They are silent witnesses to our joys, our sorrows, our daily routines, and our grandest dreams. They absorb our energy, carry our memories, and, in a way, tell the story of who we were. Let's travel back in time to the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt. Here, death was not an end, but a transition. When a pharaoh or a noble passed from this world, they didn't go alone. Their tombs were elaborate treasure houses, filled with everything they would need for the afterlife. Gilded chariots, intricate jewelry, fine linens, even jars of food and wine were carefully placed alongside them. The Egyptians believed that these material possessions were extensions of the soul, essential companions for the eternal journey. The soul, or ka, would continue to use and enjoy these items in the next realm. For them, your belongings were intrinsically part of you, inseparable from your spiritual essence. To part with them was to diminish the soul itself. This practice reveals a deep belief. What we own is a reflection of who we are, a tangible part of our identity that transcends even death. Now, let's jump forward several millennia to our modern Western world. The picture is starkly different. When someone passes away, what happens to the collection of objects that once defined their life? Often, within weeks or even days, these items are sorted, appraised, and sold. They become what the legal and auction worlds call chattels, a cold, impersonal term for a lifetime's accumulation. A loved one's cherished record collection, the armchair they sat in for decades. The well-worn books lining their shelves all are catalogued and dispersed to the highest bidder. The home is emptied, sterilized, and prepared for the next occupant. This process, while practical and necessary in a society built on efficiency, can feel profoundly jarring. It's as if a life is being dismantled piece by piece, its story erased. The connection between the person and their possessions is severed almost brutally. What was once imbued with personal meaning is reduced to its market value. It raises an uncomfortable question. If our things can be so quickly stripped of their history and sold off, what does that say about the permanence of our own lives? This swift disposal of a person's world reflects a modern viewpoint, where identity is seen as residing purely within the individual's consciousness, separate from the material world. Once the mind is gone, the objects are just empty shells. It's a pragmatic perspective, but one that can feel hollow, leaving little room for the lingering spirit or energetic imprint that many cultures believe remains. We've become masters of decluttering, of moving on. But in doing so, do we risk losing a deeper connection to our past and to those who came before us? In contrast to both the ancient Egyptian and modern Western views, many Eastern philosophies offer a third perspective, one that bridges the material and the spiritual in a unique way. In traditions like Feng Shui or certain branches of Buddhism and Taoism, objects are not just inert matter. They are seen as vessels of energy, or qi. Throughout a person's life, their energy flows into and becomes part of the things they regularly use and cherish. A favorite teacup, a well-used writing desk, A piece of clothing worn often these items become saturated with the owner's personal chi. When a person passes away, this energy doesn't just vanish, it lingers. According to this view, the belongings of the deceased retain a strong energetic connection to them. To simply discard or sell these items without care is considered disrespectful, not just to the memory of the person, but to their lingering spiritual presence. It is believed that this could create unease for the departed soul and bring imbalance to the living, who inherit or acquire the items. That's why in many Eastern cultures, there are specific rituals for handling the possessions of the deceased. These might involve cleansing ceremonies, prayers, or a period of waiting before the items are passed on, often to family members who will honor their history. The objects are treated with a reverence that acknowledges their role as energetic links between the world of the living and the realm of the spirit. It's a perspective that sees the material world as being interwoven with an unseen energetic fabric, a fabric that connects us all, even after death. So we have three distinct views. The ancient Egyptian, where belongings are essential companions for the soul's journey. The modern Western, where they are chattels to be liquidated. And the Eastern, where they are energetic anchors, connecting the living to the dead. Each perspective forces us to confront the same fundamental questions. What is the true value of the things we own? Is it in their utility, their monetary worth, or something more intangible? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the synthesis of these ideas. Our possessions are not our souls, but they are storytellers. They are the physical evidence of a life lived. Think about the heirlooms in your own family. A grandparent's watch, a mother's recipe book, a father's old guitar. These things are priceless, not because of what they're made of, but because of the stories they hold and the love they represent. They are portals to memory, tangible links to our lineage. They remind us that we are part of a much larger story, one that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone. In our rush to accumulate more, we often forget to consider the legacy we are building through our belongings. We are all temporary custodians of the objects in our lives. They will outlast us. So, the question isn't just what will happen to them, but what story will they tell about us when we're no longer here to speak for ourselves? Will they speak of a life of mindless consumption, or will they tell a tale of passion, love, and meaning? Will they be empty shells, quickly discarded, or will they be cherished vessels of energy and memory, passed down with reverence? Ultimately, this exploration of what we leave behind leads us to a more urgent question. How should we live now? If our belongings are extensions of ourselves, then perhaps we should choose them more mindfully. Perhaps we should cherish them more deeply, not for their status or value, but for the role they play in the story of our lives. Because in the end, we don't truly own anything. We are simply borrowing these things for a short while. Our real legacy isn't in the objects themselves, but in the love, the memories, and the energy we imbue them with. That is the essence that endures. That is the part of us that can never be sold at auction. And as usual, this is your host, Donica Dequella, signing off with a note of gratitude. Thank you for joining me on this reflection. If these ideas resonated with you, consider subscribing to Silk and Steel for more journeys into the deeper questions of life, Stay curious.